Hello and welcome to Crossfire Season 4. I am Floofys. I'm here with SmallTinyJesus, who I guess has been downgraded to just TinyJesus. How you doing tonight?
The name's too long. I'm doing pretty good. Pretty good tonight. Played a few games with the boys. Ready to watch some great Counter-Strike tonight.
Yep, so we're here to bring you your Monday night dose of NACS dopamine. Tonight we got RedactedSociety versus NXG Esports. Now, on the surface, I think that looks like a pretty open and shut case, right? I think we've got RedactedSociety, the advanced team, NXG, the main team. But looking at these teams, I think the player skill level is a little bit closer than you might expect when they're a league apart. And aside from that, I think that RedactedSociety, they did not make playoffs. So I think they might be in a little bit of a slump. But on the other side of things, you have NXG, who they did make playoffs and they did not take a single map during them. So let me know. Break it down for me, STJ. What do you think?
I mean, it's sort of a case of like who just feels better in themselves right now. You know, a few, little losses here. I know NXG just went up against Outfit 49. I think got 2-0'd. So they've had, a few minimal successes here in ECA, where a lot of their wins are pretty, cut and clear, like 13-2s and like a lot of single digit round wins for their opponents. But if you look at RedactedSociety, I mean, they're being very competitive with a lot of these teams. Team Mouse is a team that has been on the rise recently. They took them to all three maps. Outfit 49, they're going blow to blow with. So both of these teams have a fair amount of accolades to them that will sort of prove that this is probably going to be a great matchup just to watch in general for both of these teams.
Yeah, I think just looking at the group that these two teams are in, we can already see RedactedSociety 0-2 on the group so far. NXG, like you said, 0-1. This would be the opportunity for NXG to really put themselves into contention to leave the group. So, I mean, if you're RedactedSociety, you're just looking for pride at this point. You're not getting out of this group. Honestly, I wouldn't have expected Team Mouse to come out of the gate as strong as they did, but I mean, always cool to see new teams. I do know that they parted ways with Joker basically right after that game, so we'll see, or Jester right after that game, so we'll see how that team ends up looking as the season progresses. But I mean, with Jester, they looked good. We do have the map picks and bans coming up very soon here. It does look like we've had our first set of bans already, so we should be getting those locked in soon. But before we do, why don't we go into our first thing here? You can see it right below SmallTinyJesus there. This stream is hosted on Twitch, and it's also hosted on Blaze. Are you tired of being stuck in the crowd and having a 50-50 split of all of your sub revenue? You should give a shot to Blaze. Blaze.stream is a live stream revolution for gamers and creators. You keep full control. You earn instant tips with real payouts. And the thing they wanted us to make sure to bring up is if you like bits on Twitch, Blaze has its own version of that is even more robust. So if you want to get into a whole economy worth of streaming, Blaze is the place to go.
I mean, we are CS players. We do love our little micro economies.
We'll see how long we get to use that. If the New York Attorney General or what is it, Washington is suing Valve now. So, everyone wants a piece of Big Gaben. And so we'll see who's the one that actually gets the piece. Somehow I think that the way that Valve are kind of positioning themselves, they've been expecting this for a while. And I think that if you like terminals, you're going to be in good hands. If you like the armory, you're going to be in good hands. If you want to open cases, you might be out of luck.
But if you're investing in cases right now, is a pretty good time for you.
It could be good, or it could be bad. Yeah. Honestly, like we saw cases go way up at the start of CS2 because everyone's like, "Oh man, new Counter-Strike, all shiny, gotta open cases." And then as people were like, "Oh gosh, the Michael Jackson peaks and the sub tick and everything that was going on," and people were just, I mean, it's people on the internet and it's Counter-Strike players. When you tell them that you have to make a change, they're going to be unhappy with you.
Oh yeah, that's that's. I feel like, you can be up against Donk in the server, but I feel like what most people are afraid of are actually those updates. But I do want to mention something that you mentioned earlier about, Team Mouse, and they had that roster change. I feel like that's what like I like most about Crossfire is most of the times when these sort of lower teams in like the NA scene, they get a lot of roster changes done throughout the season, and I feel like Crossfire is like the first place they get to like test out this new roster. I always like seeing the new additions with all the teams like playing in this league because that's like one of the first times you'll see it with them.
Yeah, and Crossfire is kind of the guts and bones of off-season shenanigans, which was born out of a need to keep playing Counter-Strike even when the season's not going, right? For some people, you're going to have the thought, oh, we do have the picks and bans coming in here now. So we've got RedactedSociety with Nuke, we got NXG with Mirage, and we've got Overpass as our decider. First, I have to give personal boo earns to banning out Anubis. I don't know if it was going to get picked, but I still like the new whole edition, but we should probably talk about Nuke. How do you feel about Nuke?
Just Nuke is honestly a great map because it's like the most puggy like tactical map there is because everybody knows Nuke, everybody loves to play it, but Nuke is a very tactical map, and so a lot of maps like Dust and Mirage that can come down to firepower. Nuke is sort of the expectation, like the exception from that is because obviously you can get one of your A players to have a great game that makes them scared to do an inside hit, but Nuke you have to like maneuver your pieces very well outside. So maybe it's going down secret or taking garage control and trying to wrap into hell. I like Nuke just because it's like the you dip your toes into being a lot more tactical than your other team.
Yeah, it's a map where you have a lot of different opportunities to pull out different weapons and different tactics that other than just the typical can we win our aim duels at range. But Mirage is always going to be that classic, all right, now we are looking to win those aim duels at range. Do you get to take control of mid? Do you get that B rush to come out successfully? The tactics of Mirage are pretty well fleshed out, and so I think that if I'm NXG, I'm expecting to hopefully have a couple of curveballs, but at the same time, if you can hit them fast with the fastball, then you should be able to take it. So, hopefully we get to that third map. Overpass is pretty sweet.
Oh yeah, Overpass is a great map to watch. I enjoy its addition back into the map pool. I feel like we always need more of these maps that are like just like can you outsmart your enemy other than just outshoot them. But I do miss Train a lot, and I'm really excited to see how the map pool can change from here on out because I know we have the forever elusive cache coming up, but we also have these maps in our back pocket like Vertigo and Train that has these maps changed around a bit to make them more interesting and maybe more more susceptible to the mass players. So, but Overpass is a great map.
I think Valve is actually setting up a really cool expectation, right? They've set us up for 2 majors a year, map change every major, small gameplay change every major. So, we had CTs get $50 more. We had MP9 get nerfed. We had XM get nerfed. Maybe we get things beside. We actually got buffs for like the first time since I can't even remember. I think the last time we actually got buffs was like, I think Valve have been a little bit afraid to give buffs when they realized what they could do by just changing the cash values of things. Like, I remember when the AUG and the SG, people were like, oh, it's only $50 more than the AK and the M4? Sure, why not? Turns out they're good.
Yeah, it's interesting how buffs are just completely economy related in some ways, but I feel like me and a lot of the player base is still waiting for that Graph update to drop where it finally will supposedly fix the the third person animations of everyone else, because sometimes I just feel like I'm getting running headshotted when I'm sure they did counter strafe, but that's just not what I'm seeing. And so I think it'll like it's going to be very strange because the most it'll do is just going to help players' mental game be a little bit better, because now you're seeing why you're dying instead of just like, oh, he's just running and getting lucky. I feel like it's going to be like a strange case to see once that actually drops.
Well, and I think people have been noticing that they've been kind of teasing it. You see chicken animations updated, and you're like, "Ooh, that's so exciting!" But the more they update the animations of things that are not the player models, I think the closer that you can think that those anim graph updates are coming. And so I feel like while the Cologne Major is going to be exciting on its own merit, they're combining the biggest event of the Counter-Strike calendar and one of the majors, the post-Cologne update.
Yeah, I'm surprised it didn't drop after season 3 ended. Me personally, I thought that's when it should have appeared, but I mean, it not being here is just going to be simply until it is here. So you can't do much about it, because obviously none of us are Valve devs. We'll just wait till it happens. Time. But it's going to be exciting once it actually does happen.
I think if Valve are going to release it, this is not something. So I know a lot of people are really enjoying going back to CSGO and being like, oh man, I can play this game again. This is good times. And, CS2 is getting updated. All right. CSGO took time to get perfect. A lot of people are like, oh, CSGO was perfect on release. Like, no, it wasn't. Oh, go look at the number of updates they had to make to just the hit boxes. They were boxes before they were globes, before they matched the characters well. They didn't match on ladders. They didn't match when you were planting. They didn't match when you were defusing. Like, come on, don't be like that.
I know. I'm like, it's weird to say, because I'm a little privileged. I had like 10 hours in CSGO before it switched to CS2. So I'm like, anytime anyone mentions like previous CSGO, I'm like, I like, it's not like I don't care. I completely respect on like what happened in that game, but it's just like at some point you got to accept these are not the same game. Like you can play CSGO again, but like you have CS2 now, and CS2 is going to be CS2 and CSGO is going to be CSGO, and complaining about how everything was in CSGO, like I have like gone back and downloaded everything, and it's just like I'm like I said, I'm somewhat privileged only having played 2, but it's just like I throw the smokes and I'm like, wow, that looks awful. And I just look at the graphics and I'm like, oh, this is very outdated. So it's just sort of little minor stuff like that where it's just like, me personally, I just don't particularly care for it, where everyone else is like, oh, this is the best thing since sliced bread.
I think CSGO was a lot of people's first entry into CS in the first place. Some of us have been here for longer than that. Don't ask how old I am, but I did play Source and I did play 1.6 back in high school. So, CS, it's been around for 25 years. It's going to keep going. Don't you worry. But it does sound like we should be getting into this one fairly soon. I did hear production say that they're getting the knife round underway, which, because let's face it, they do have the knife round even if the teams should get their pick of maps. So this is Redacted Society's map pick. So I'm guessing NXG are going to take CT side. Nuke going to be very, very CT sided, although not as much as in the past. So you mentioned you're new to CS. Have you heard about what Nuke used to be like?
I remember seeing there was a catwalk completely on the outside of Heaven, and it was strange. I remember there, even like before CS:GO, there was no secret. It was just outside or inside. So
there was a secret. It was a lot more secretive though. Like imagine secret being all the way from Red. You have to, it's like, it was a trip to get there, and if you're a fan of the back rooms, it was very much a liminal space. It was hard to navigate and not much fun.
Outside of, I remember
outside
there
of
was
the
2 vents
catwalk,
also.
yes, that was my next thing. There's 2 vents down in lower where if you went down to B, like your chance, if you got the bomb down, you had a very good chance of succeeding. And if you couldn't get the bomb down on upper, you're basically screwed. Like, it was a rough map for the T side.
Looks like we're in a little bit of a tech pause before the match actually gets started off with.
Yeah, it's pretty classic. Classic tech pause before the game begins. So I guess the other thing to talk about is, how were you with making the jump to Silo?
It's honestly, it's very strange because sometimes I'll do it no problem, and then sometimes I'll have to do it like 4 times. Yeah, like I'm not consistent. I feel like
It used to be a heck of a lot harder to do. Like, to the point that you actually had to be at least a little bit proficient in movement to make it work. Like, now you can just full W key jump to it. Before, you had to make sure to hit a strafe in there to get to the silo, and it was rough. But if you could do it, it was such a fantastic spot to play from. It does look like we will be getting this game underway. It does look like everybody's readied up. So, RedactedSociety starting things off on the T side, NXG on the CT. Let's get into it.
all right, here we are. Looking like we have 3 pairs of armor and a kit on this CT side. Galaxy not seeming to actually buy anything. That's interesting. And then on the flip side of that, 3 pairs of armor, 4 of the T's, and 2 flashbangs with some outside smoke coming out.
Yeah, speaking of the outside smoke, that landed on top of Mini. That's not going to feel too terribly great. NXG just opening it up. It is a wall of bullets outside, and Trick left all alone before being taken down as well. So a perfect round out of NXG. CJB only taking 11 points of damage, which might have been from falling.
Yeah, Galaxy actually not buying anything in the pistol round, got 2 kills, so their economy is already looking very, very strong. They got M4 armor and smoking a molly for this. So it looks like the T side is just gonna full save this, not getting any bomb plant down. So just Glocks to breeze by, maybe 1 gig bot. Dink though, early into the round.
Yeah, he's looking a little bit scary here for RedactedSociety. Definitely something to watch out for, but the M4s should be able to chew through them just fine. Not much armor picked up as well. This is basically a save buy for RedactedSociety, looking to maybe take away a couple of these rifles, but 4 shot puts down 2. DJB now advancing on top of Red as well. He's already managed to delete 1 from the picture, but it's going to be 4 shift to clean this one up, or 4 shot.
Yeah, I'm, obviously pissed around, not much to say, but I'm actually somewhat surprised about how many dinks these guys actually got from from all the way top marsh with a Glock all the way down to garage. So I think we saw one of the CTs is just limping away on like 20 HP, so nearly successful there and just trying to get a gun or 2 away, but at the end it's just, still unarmored pistols up against it. Now here comes the full buy here. Double outside smokes. It's looking like 3 T's are trying to go behind this, but wow! Enzo with a tap onto the Heaven player, but gets traded out. But Dirty Dan's aware of this Unbreakable player. He's starting to take some garage roll as 4-shot actually pushes up through it. So now, this is an interesting case. Dirty Dan walks right behind, and Pinhead Larry, opposite play on this, second part of Heaven, drops down Hell. Oof.
Yeah, I mean,
and Dirty Dan's alert pays off.
A rough start to the game, but now that the guns are coming out for RedactedSociety, we can see the shots are connecting, and now things are about to get difficult for NXG. Ravens and Hibui remove 4 shot, and it's just a full rout here for RedactedSociety. 4 players still standing means that the AK should be tossed over, and NXG, this is really their golden opportunity to establish a foothold on their CT side. They started off with that absolutely powerful pistol round. You can see they've all got 1 death, and it was that last round. So if NXG get this round, they could establish a very strong foothold against RedactedSociety. But based on what we just saw in the full buy, We're gonna have a bully of a time with this round. Yeah, that's a good nade though.
Speaking of the AUG meta, though, we do see one purchase from Pinhead Larry here, though. I wonder where is he playing outside with that? Maybe ramp? But looking like an A hit trying to come out here for Redacted Society.
Yeah, they're just trying to bully the mini player out of position, but the smoke put down, and I mean, these upper players are standing strong, so they're going to force Redacted Society into a rotation, force them to go somewhere else or get crunched on. I like where Galactus is playing inside of Hut. This could be really dangerous for Redacted Society. Galaxy up close and personal, sprays onto 2 and going to get away with it. That is enormous. Down to 11 HP, but it's not going to matter. Now he's drawn Redacted Society back into his teammate, and Trick and Raven's boss are going to have to finish this one out. 2 versus 3. Trick on 4 HP, but they will make it down to the lower site where CJB is lurking. This is going to be a whole lot on this round. CJB making it into control as the bomb is planted. Trick removed from ramp. Now it's just Raven's boss in the 1 versus 3. Makes it a 1 versus 2. Looks for the 3rd, and there is 4 shot behind the pillar. Very close round, but Ravens goes huge.
Yeah, and managing to grab that off. I was about to say before this round got turned upside down like that. I'm like, well, at least the AWP fired off a shot ramp, so these T's know now at least they're going up against an AWP. But a great post plant there by Redacted Society, getting that bomb down. I'm like, all right, good, you got your number 1 goal down. But just finding those isolated ones is just Raven goes huge there to find that second round already, and that's going to be great for Redacted Society to have already breaking the CT economy after losing the pistol round. And then just as many rounds as you can grab on this T side is going to be great for them.
Yeah, now things will get a whole lot more difficult. So, I mean, again, as we were kind of talking about in the pre-show, I think that just the skill differential from these teams, Redacted Society were looking like the stronger of the two. So we'll see if NXG can throw us a nice curveball here on Nuke. I do want to commend the ramp play, though, just because Galaxy, with that perfect timing, almost served up the round on a silver platter to NXG. And if he had managed to get away and try and sneak out another timing, that round could have gone very differently. As it is, though, can't cry over spilled rounds. And NXG trying to set up for just set up in pairs with the pistol, see if you can catch someone out.
I mean, yeah, the best thing they can do probably in this round is find a gun or two, just able to save an AK back in CT spawn, maybe. Because an AK on CT Nuke is very something to be scared of, because if you get, a squeaky player, a mini player, or maybe Heaven with the AK, that's going to make taking A lot harder, but they're going to show the leg there. They're going to at least show that there's players in lobby and in Hut together. Ooh, that nade landed right on the feet of Galaxy.
Chonky. I mean, Redacted Society are giving up a lot of time against these pistols. Gonna have to make this one quick. CJB gonna be flashed out, but it's already faded. Looking for the shots onto these players headed down ramp, but is gonna be forced away. It's gonna be up to 4 shot here. He's got a lot of help sitting behind single, but Hibui and Enzo more than capable of handling it. Look at everyone here for NXG. This could be painful for Redacted Society, but the trades out of Enzo and Hibui will keep them running. CJB noisily down through the vents. Onto the site, now spotted. Blitz entering, and Enzo cleans up. Redacted Society take the lead.
That round going as anyone probably expected it to. On paper, that should be an easy round for Redacted Society, but I feel like I don't sometimes like watching people go against known anti-ecos and just playing it super slow. I get the reason to execute caution, you don't want to walk into a stack, but if you watched Pro League recently and you watched M80 play, I think they lost, no joke, maybe 7 or 8 anti-ecos because they just sat in the same place and got mopped up. But
yeah,
ended up working out for a redacted society here. So back to the full guns. We see an MP7 in the mix, but as well as an AWP, but very minimal util on the CTs left. So as we reach a minute 20 left on the clock.
Well, Redacted Society definitely getting initiative early on this time. Habui and Enzo going to charge onto this A-bomb site. There's nothing in their path. Galaxy, though, is going to catch the timing, and that hot player is deleted. Molly, though, will keep Redacted Society in this, but Pinhead Larry next up to bat. Versus one now for 4-shot with the AWP. Going to find his way onto that A-bomb site and deletes Dirty Dan from the server. Habui now going to know at final player's position. It's for the swing on out, and the AK rips his head right off. 4-2. Redacted Society keeping this one moving right along.
I like that round for sure from both of these teams. That was pretty well played from both of them. Obviously you had that like twist cologne play going on right there, just taking control of mini super quick, finding two players with their back turns, but Galaxy also just lurking through, finding the most, awkward timings for these and getting that double was huge, and then just trades galores, and it ended up being, a 1v2 attempt for the offer there. Obviously not able to figure it out, holding strong on that line there, but ooh, little rough movement there.
I was going to say, it's always... Look. Oh! Ooh. There's the Deagles that I was wondering where they went on round number 2, but turns out they were in the hands of NXG.
Yeah, Galaxy here. Really showing what they're made of right now. 7-4, while the rest of the team... Actually, 4-shot is also on 7-4 with there, so... CZ, you do not see many of these anymore.
For good reason. I mean, I was talking about what weapons have been buffed. CZ was nerfed basically into oblivion, and I think they finally made the kill reward for it 300 again. So at least if you get a kill at range, you're not like, well, what was the point of that?
Yeah, so, I mean, I just don't see any reason to buy it over the 5.7 at this point. 5.7 is crazy broke with like 100 reserve ammo, but ooh, trade coming out here for the CTs. That MP7 actually doing a little bit of work, and now it's 4v2 all of a sudden. Make that a 4v1. Finds the first, finds the second, the third. Oh my lord!
Redacted, okay, Habui. All right. So Redacted Society walk into the A stack that NXG are holding for them. First, they lose the opening duel to the Deagle. Then they walk into the A stack and lose 3 more players. Luckily, Habui is there to bail them out, but like 4 kills in quick succession, that is glorious. Redacted Society
I was 100% writing that round off for Redacted Society. What an amazing individual performance there.
Bowie's over here like, yeah, so I get a skin out of that, right? That clutch was worth something, right? Nearly through to pistols. Although speaking of being thrown against, these rifles for NXG are doing a knock-up job. Dirty Dan looking to respond. First kill and responds with a second. The op goes wide, and Bowie and Raven's boss make this one an advantage for Redacted Society. Now Pinhead Larry may be stuck up in heaven all alone. Nobody for the rest of the team here to answer for their crimes. They have all been put away. They know he was up here, so making some noise is going to lure them over and maybe give Pinhead Larry a chance to do something sneaky, but I think at this point you're just looking to save your weapon. Maybe walk out with an extra kill, but with how much noise Pinhead Larry has made.
I think they'll be safely able to walk away from this round, but watching Redacted Society, I feel like they're just like, I feel like they've been reviewing a lot of Stewie 2K demos or something, because these guys are just lurking through so many smokes and just completely catching these CTs off guard. I think this is like so many unsuspecting CTs. I think we just saw one walk through that squeaky smoke and another one just walk straight through the outside smokes that they themselves threw. So I think Redacted Society are playing a very dangerous but very unexpected way of this T side. And I feel like it's definitely putting, NXG in a very tough spot because now they got to stare at, the smokes that their enemies are throwing, but also their own. And so it's just really making them a little more nervous and not fully confident about where their steering is going to be, where an enemy is going to be.
Yeah, I mean, the chess game that is outside is actually working out really well for NXG. Just over and over, I think they've sent Redacted Society some curveballs. Upper, though, this time going perfectly in the hands of Redacted Society, although Galaxy looking to change that in from Mini. Good couple of kills through the smoke, and 4Shot looking to chew away at these final two players to try and keep the bomb off the site. I mean, very well done from NXG to keep this site under lock and key. Oh my gosh, they're gonna get wrapped on as well.
Yeah, I think this is too little bit of a pause here. You have these smokes out. You had enough time to plant the bomb, but now they're going to be loud, trying to go down ramp, see if they get enough space. But Pinhead Larry at least found the first, and then Galaxy with that backstab finds the second. So the third round at least on the board for NXG Esports here. I mean, the best they can do right now is an even half on the CT side of Nuke, so any rounds they can get here on out is going to be worthwhile.
Yeah. Honestly, some great movement out of NXG to get that crunch for Redacted Society. Again, I think that NXG are doing a good job a better job than I think than Redacted Society might have expected of just maneuvering around the map in such a way that they keep taking these fights by surprise. There's some really great game sense going on for the NXG side, and they're keeping things. They're keeping the timings very flowy, making sure that Redacted Society can't get too comfortable.
Molotov here is going to push Enzo into the off crosshair of 4Shot, but doesn't expect the second player so close. And it's crazy they're able to at least walk away with their life here. But Trick is going to find Pinhead Larry on this ramp. 4Shot still sticking around here. Maybe get something in, but Black is already down. Single door. Opens the door, lets them know they're here, but doesn't hear that bomb plane coming in just yet. Taps it. Black trying to figure out where to spam.
CJB's down again. They're ready for it this time. Redacted Society. This time they're ready to be surrounded, and this time they'll fight their way out of the net. NXG, now 4Shot remaining all alone, has to back this one away. Hold on to that AWP. Only gonna be 2 rounds left in the half after this, so 5-7, about as good as you can hope for.
Yeah, I think saving the off here is, best case scenario right now. I mean, you have, I think, basically right around max loss bonus still, so, you can still have by, maybe pray for an 8-4 scoreline or something, but it's just Redacted Society, I feel like, have been a bit better in the mid-rounds here. I feel like NXG has done pretty well on, doing what they want to do in the early round, establishing themselves, either outside or making sure that A or ramp is fully secured for the CTs. But once it gets into this mid round and you have a little bit less util and a little bit less, players alive, I feel like that's where Redacted Society is doing a little bit better in maneuvering around and fully getting NXG, confused on where the, final goal is going to be. So a great T side for sure for Redacted Society right now.
Yeah, and I think going into what you're saying there, Redacted Society are playing these mid and late rounds a lot better. When they try to go for things too fast, they are getting caught and they are getting shoved away. But when they wait for the initial round, sort of getting started with the util that NXG is throwing out, they are maneuvering around that a whole lot better. And so I think we'll end up seeing a couple more slow rounds as we finish out the half here. 2 rounds left. Or maybe not. Upper gonna be fast and furious. Getting stopped up in HUD, but I don't think that is gonna stop him any, as Redacted Society have already made it out squeaky, and CJB is beheaded. collect as well. So RedactedSociety take the early upper hand. Galaxy in secret, waiting to see if anyone shows themselves to them, but it's going to be the molly up to heaven, and RedactedSociety should have plenty of time available to get this bomb planted. Now just getting tucked into these after plant positions. Galaxy not going to go for the re-peek through the smoke, so it is just going to be that upper player before shot hits the first. Dirty Dan hits the grave. They're going to save this, though.
Yeah, 2v2. I think 4Shot's still looking for another chance to get out. Oof. But that second look is what's going to cost them. That's an eighth round for RedactedSociety here. You know, and that round getting cracked open. I think CJB is trying to get a little bit more info, trying to push through that mini smoke and just gets a bullet instead as these guys just explode right out to the A bomb site. I like how the flash initially for the CTs like completely stopped everyone in their tracks, just sort of stuck in hut, but just that little tiny microaggression back from Mini just opens that round up again for RedactedSociety. So, actually burns the molly. Raven will find an early double kill to open up this A bomb site yet again.
Raven's just murdering one after another, looking for the third there, but the Heaven player, Pinhead Larry, pulling out the MP7. Deal with the aggression that the RedactedSociety are putting down, but it might not be enough. 2 versus 4. 4Shot in through the smoke and Mini. Still a chance here for NXG to make themselves a home to grab a 4th round on this app. They need it. It is non-negotiable for NXG. The bomb is planted down on lower. This 2 versus 2 retake. A lot riding on it. Only to block offense. By a few more precious seconds for NXG as Dirty Dan gets into control. Pushing into position, waiting for someone over by double. For shot, taking that first angle, but not ready for the second. This trick is there. That's just Pinhead Larry on 25 HP, making a lot of noise on this site. Smoke over to the bomb, but I don't think there's any way that you get out of this unhinged. Nade over. That nade is all that you need. The dunk into the smoke. The angry face for the finish. 9-3 on the first half. RedactedSociety in a commanding position.
Yeah, I mean, that was complete, dominance there for RedactedSociety once those gun rounds came out. Obviously, the pistol and the conversion round are great for your CT side, but you got to win those, gun rounds after that. NXG just only scraping together one rifle round out of, all of them to give RedactedSociety a 9-3 lead on the harder side of Nuke, quote unquote. But
well, I mean, we saw NXG.
Something's to be had here. You need this pistol round if you're NXG.
Yeah, I was going to say, we saw a good pistol round on the CT side from NXG, and they've already made it down to secret, so a good start, a good sign, but a 1-for-1 trade off the bat is at least sobering for this aggression. Now, Trick looking to take the next fight over by ramp, but Smoke going to be put down to block his vision. This is such a tough spot because there's 2 tiny little checkpoints for RedactedSociety to make it past, but once they do, these USPs are able to get some shots, but it's not enough as NXG will take the pistol once again.
I mean, I feel that's probably one of the best ways to play that pistol round there on Nuke. Is once you get down on that B bomb site with these Glocks and you smoke off one of the sides of ramp, is you just funnel all these USPs into just one line of fire, which is great for the Glocks because, I mean, Glocks aren't that accurate, but they can spam very well. And so the USPs really excel at just getting, quick shoulder peeks and one taps. So getting them all in the line where the Glock can just spam them down was a great move there from NXG.
I don't know if I'm going to be interested in this comeback until I see how NXG deal with the first gun round. Obviously, we see them already mopping up against the pistols, right? They did this on their CT side as well. It went very well for them. But if they can't convert the first gun round, then things are going to start to get awkward. Do lose 1 to Raven's Deagle, but again, 4 versus 2, I think, is a pretty cut and dried situation for NXG.
Yeah, I like what 4Shot is doing here. in this round is I think they walked into this round with just a Tech 9 and full armor. And I feel like that's something more players should start doing is like up against these, like known ecos, because a Tech 9 against this SMG is still a pretty fair fight, I would say. And so these offers can get an op in their hand a lot more quicker when you just keep with the upgraded pistol onto this, the second round where you're up against either just USPs or pistols. I feel like that's a great economical choice to have. But Trick, at least finding one for the troubles, as it's going to be 2 dead here for NXG. So, make that 3. Sorry about that.
Oh, that's such a bad thing to happen against the pistols. I mentioned in the little patch notes bit that I did, where you've got $50 extra on each of the CTs, and bomb kills count for that.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it's not enough for any ops to come out for Redacted Society, so at least that's something where NXG can be a little bit pleased with themselves. Like, it's only rifles, but again, if the last half is anything to go by, this is the round that NXG really need to secure if they want to have a chance at winning map number 1. Warshot spots a shoulder over on Tetris, but Raven's just going to hop on up of Hut. Look to take the high ground. I have the high ground, Anakin.
Ooh. It didn't matter in that case. I think Enzo finding the first kill. And wow. 2 dinks. Wow. 2 head-to-heads happens, and both of the T's got dinked, but still 1 out. It's just
here we go. Habui all alone. Was a hero before. Can you be a hero once again? Knows there's one more player. Has to have heard the footsteps. And NXG were very loud as they made their way on in. 5 bullets left is not going to be enough, as NXG with 2 strong will take round number 16. Or round number 15.
That was very close there again. Was that going to be, what, a 1v5? Nearly? If it actually came through? I think one of those players was on 10 HP, and then the other one was just, I think, on the full one, but still close there. Obviously, though, that's a must. Like we said, a must need to win round for NXG here, so puts them back up against pistols here, and I mean...
Well, that's a good start.
Enzo interrupting me with a crazy 1 dig. But it has the potential here.
That's one thing that's fun about Nuke Outside is, we lost a teammate, we lost an AK. Make sure this isn't available to be picked up. Toss it over the fence.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Dirty Dan there, trying to find it. Can't find that, so he's still going to operate with the USP, which is, I mean, it's basically just a marshmallow shooter compared to that potential of the AK here, but Dirty Dan has the potential to find at least 1 back turn to him. Oh, look at the timing of this.
They're not expecting. Oh, does he go for the knife? The turn means he can't, but the USP still able to remove a player from this round, and Redacted Society retain the numbers advantage, 4 versus 3, as NXG make their way down toward B. Trick, first one to spot these players out from ramp. Those are going to be out on the site, going to be calling in the rotation for the rest of the team. I love this demon angle that we're getting to see here. This is like the tiniest little window that you're going to have to fire off a shot. If the player on upper tries to sneak on by, now the position given away, so it's not going to matter. Or a shot able to spin around for the double. 2 versus 2, Habui picking up the AK, and Ravens picking off the player up in rafters. Now it's a 1 versus 1 for Habui, but going to make himself known, and DJB from below flips him on his head. 4 players down. There's at least money for Redacted Society, but now this comeback, I'm a little bit more of a believer.
Yeah, I don't know. It's sort of hard to... It's hard for NXG because you are winning these rounds, but you're losing so many players, while we're doing this, and that sort of makes your economy super rocky. I mean, you still have full AKs, it seems, and all retail. Actually, you still have a MP5. But it's if you lose even 1 round, your money is fully gone again, and losing an opening pick is something you don't want to happen. At least Galaxy trading back Dirty Dan here as these outside smokes slowly start to come in. This Galaxy is queued up for another fight again, but Enzo is actually the one winning it out here.
Yeah, and he might be due
no.
for another, sneaking through the smoke at CJB and sneaking to the grave as well. The Redacted Society now, 4 versus 2. Pinhead Larry looking for the fight. Squeaky, that MP5 does nothing for him. Can't be secret when they see your face. Black now on 25 HP, and NXG. Oh, this nade is just going to set right in his lap. Raven's boss frags him up. It's 10-7. And even worse still is Redacted Society have been doing a pretty good job of killing as many players as possible, firstly for their own money, but secondly to make sure that NXG don't really have the money. So even with 4 rounds in a row, it's been a lot of kills hitting for Redacted Society, so there's not a whole lot left in the tank.
Yeah, that's sort of the frustrations of Counter-Strike is like we've been doing what we supposed to. We've been winning these rounds, but as soon as you take a little trip, that's where the ball starts rolling. Your money's bottomed out. And Pinhead Larry just has 1,500, so even after this tack here, or even after this round, you're going to have basically no money coming into the next, and that's where you fight for preventing match point. And then the CTs here, look at their economy. They've lost so many rounds in a row, and now they've won 1, and they have an AK and off and plenty of money left back in the bank. So Redacted Society, as much as, it's sort of they were flipped on their head, getting a taste of their own medicine, that was a pretty convincing, CT round there for them, as they are queued up to find a pretty easy eco mop-up here.
Ooh, yeah, I mean, so easy that the USPs are coming out. They don't even need the rifles. Ravens is like, I'll fight you on your own ground. Technically, he'd have to throw his armor away if he really wanted to fight them on their own turf, but, hey, we'll take it. Rounds in a row for Redacted.
Yep. I think that was the first actually tack timeout, though, we saw this round, obviously. As as a caster, I love tack rounds because you get to talk a little bit more, and who doesn't love that? But I mean, these are a pretty integral part of a lot of these matches here. Is actually letting you guys to cool down and get a more advanced game plan here. And so I wish more teams would use a lot more of them, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, I think timeouts are a lot bigger than I think some of the less experienced teams will make them.
Ooh, that nade just barely going not where it was intended to, because that could have been beefy there.
This is a little annoying for NXG, though, having Trick so far up in radio that they're stuck in vending. And I mean, you can see on the mini-map, NXG, they've got lobby control, lock, stock, and barrel. But other than that, they're kind of stuck. They have a player up on roof, and they haven't even tested outside yet. Could go quite poorly for them. A quick 1-for-1 trade, but they will make it out on the upper site. Ravens sitting inside the smoke, only good for the 1 as well, but now at Redacted Society, they've got the call, they've got the information. NXG out on upper. 2 versus 3. Try to get this bomb into position. 35 seconds. Going to be up to Pinhead Larry. He's got the bomb on the upper site. You can see him on the mini-map. Oh, he doesn't want to go for it. These smoke's about to fade, and he's just waiting to see if he gets aggressed upon. But for now, it's going to be looking like maybe, of course, rotation. Gallic drops down to vent, but doesn't even matter. Enzo's here. That is going to give the information back as he falls to his death. Versus 2 coming out from upper. Dirty Dan going to be the first one to drop. The AWP removes Galaxy from the equation, but Pinhead Larry doubles up on the spray down, and it's going to be NXG with an 8-11. They are starting to continuing to bring this one back.
I mean, beautiful fake drop there by the T's there, fully just faking out those CTs, and then that's going to give you another round win there. I mean, I can't say for sure, but that would have had pretty dire implications if they didn't pull through on that round there for the T side. But smart maneuvering there, getting the most out of your 2 players left alive there. Obviously, great double there for Pinhead Larry, and just beautiful round there for the T's, even though they were sort of very restricted there. Nice job of fighting their way back out of that.
I think the thing as we kind of get toward the ending stages of this game to think about is NXG have been hitting some real good shots, right? Again, you go main advanced, but I think the gap between these teams is a lot closer than it looked initially. And even if NXG aren't able to win this round, they might still have a chance when they get to Mirage. I mean, if these are the kinds of shots we're seeing, they might be a Mirage Demons kind of team.
Maybe, but also at the same time, Redacted Society here. I mean, oh no. Oh dear, what's happening?
Here I was singing the doom for NXG, but looks like they've got at least a little bit left in them. Galaxy, the 1 versus 2. Oh, just narrowly dodges the nade, but it will take a little bit off the back of it. Spots the bomb, but both players are there inside of lobby. 25 seconds to collect and to get the bomb down. Gonna throw down smoke to try and get out in front of it, but we can see on the X-ray the nade tossed through, but where's Raven's boss going? Gets into the face of this wheel and the knife comes out. Here's the stab, here's that meaty stab, but it's Trick to have the bullets left over as they extract from the smokes. 12 rounds for Redacted Society, looking to close this map out.
That wasn't the prettiest round we've seen yet here. But Redacted Society getting it done. I was trying to make a point of like, put yourself in Redacted Society's shoes now. They're just outside of the door of getting that guaranteed, at least at a minimum, overtime. But good mental resilience here for Redacted Society. Obviously losing how many rounds in a row? Good lord. An absolute mop up there on that A-bomb site. And that will close it out. Whoa.
A nice quick 13th round for Redacted Society. And NXG, they're like, all right, let's just go to Mirage. We can go to Mirage. It's fine. It's all good. Fair enough. We are going to have to send it to a short break to make sure that we do have the ads off in between games. But before we go there, let me tell you about SCL.GG. SCL.GG, one of our sponsors here at Crossfire. If you like demo reviews, if you like practice tools, if you like real training and real structure in your gameplay, SCL.GG. Whether you're grinding alone or you're grinding with teammates, it is the place to go for practice tools. Anything else before we head to break, SmallTinyJesus?
I hate Mirage.
I'm sorry to say that's where we're going. But first, we're going to the break. See you in a few minutes.